I was in London. The Jets were in London. Not the best ending. Jets ended up losing to the Vikings 23-17. The Jets are now 2-3. They haven't worked out many of their issues that have been plaguing the team since week 1, and they now face the AFC East leading Bills for a Monday night matchup. However, though, if they win that, then they're tied for first with the AFC East, or I think they actually win the AFC East, leading the AFC East. All right, so my first topic is, Connor, I'll start with you. Is the Jets season slipping away at 2-3?
No, but we are at the point here where it could get that direction. I mean, like you said, Jeane, they beat the Bills on Monday night at MetLife Stadium. They're first place in the AFC East, and all of this dysfunction and struggles of the last couple weeks, it's over and forgotten with. But I think we're going to learn a lot about this Jets football team over these next 2 games, because if they fall to Buffalo to go to 2-4 and then are staring at a game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I know have their own offensive issues with almost friend Arthur Smith over there. But that is a very, very good defensive football team that can absolutely give Nate Hackett and this struggling Jets offense fits. And then they should be able to bounce back against the New England Patriots, who are just a disaster of a football team right now. But then you come back against the Houston Texans, who are one of the premier teams in the AFC. So right now at 2-3, no. But when 2-3 can very easily turn to 2-4, or potentially 2-5, and then if you get back to 3-5, you're looking at 3-6. Yeah, that's when it starts to spiral. So right now, I believe we're at that point where you talk about the snowball effect. The snowball is starting to roll down, but it's not so big it can't be stopped. But this loss to the Bills, it's about as must-win as you can get at this point in the season.
Joe, your thoughts? Like you said, there's still a lot of football to be played, but are we at the point now where you got to stop the bleeding?
I think so. This has the feel of a must-win game. You're at home. You're in primetime. You're coming off losing in effectively a primetime game. You lost to start the season in primetime. These were not brutal losses, right? Both those games were there to be won at the end. The Jets are driving in both the games and have 1-possession losses. So as bad as it's been, and the coaching has been bad, there's been mistakes, there's been penalties all over the field, this type of win could cleanse the palate a little bit, because you'd be 2-0 in the AFC East. 2 of your losses have been out of conference, which is not going to kill you from a tiebreaker perspective. This is a very flawed team, and I think they're going to hover around 500 all year at best right now, pending if this roster stays the way it is. They need to win this game at home to change the energy around this team and this sort of woe is me attitude that seems to come from the coaching staff down to some of their young, supposed to be superstar players who are off to a slow start this year. So you beat Buffalo, just like when you beat New England, even though New England's not good this year, it makes everyone feel better. Those division wins feel like they count a little more. They go out and get killed by the Bills. I don't know if Robert Saleh is going to be the head coach much longer. And I know Woody does not do in-season firings, but I just wonder if it gets that bad, if this guy is not coaching for his job over the next week or 2.
I do, again, Joe, we can discuss it a ton, and I've said it. I don't think a coaching change of Robert Saleh would make any difference whatsoever for the Jets. And I do think that you're probably the seat's a little bit more warm this week than the past, because you know how Woody Johnson values how the Jets look in primetime games with the world watching. I mean, if they get smacked around by the Buffalo Bills, yeah, that's probably going to turn up the heat as high as it has ever been. And I would worry or think a little bit that an in-season coaching change could be coming. However, the one thing that I've said over and over and over again, and I do genuinely believe this, even if so much of this fan base does not agree with me, firing Robert Saleh in season is not going to change anything for the Jets. This is a defensive-minded coach whose defense is playing at a top-tier level. The Jets fought back down from 17-0 against the Vikings. That shows that this team is still fighting for him. The penalties that were a problem a week ago against the Broncos, they were reeled in against Minnesota. The issues with the Jets we're about to get to, they are not Robert Saleh related. So yeah, this might be the rash reaction. It might be what makes the talk show hosts happy, and the radio hosts are going to be thrilled. Like, oh, the Jets made a change. They're really turning it around. I saw Mike Francesa was going off on wherever he speaks now, but it's not going to do anything. It's not like if you're like when Josh McDaniels was fired with the Raiders. Okay, there goes your offensive-minded coach who's also creating a toxic environment. Robert Saleh is not creating a toxic environment. Robert Saleh is not why the offense isn't scoring points. So it's just, I think it would just be rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic there to make an in-season coaching change no matter what happens Monday night.